Okay, folks, let's have a little discussion about waypoints. I know there's a lot of chatter on the internet about accuracy of GPS waypoints. Uh, you know, mine aren't that accurate. This brand's more accurate than that brand. Blah blah blah. But let's just have a little discussion about them. Okay, first thing, if you're truly interested in GPS, you can go to the government website, which is I think it's gps.gov, but it's just search the government's website on GPS, and basically it tells you that um, something like 90% of the time with the correct receivers you can get somewhere in the accuracy of 3 feet, but the only guaranteed accuracy is within something like 7 meters, which is like 25 feet. So as you can see there's a lot of variance in your GPS accuracy. One of the things that I learned when I started running the 360 is just how inaccurate waypoints can be. So let's take a look at waypoints here. And the first thing I want to do, I want to use this isolated rock right here to give you a quick tutorial on how to mark the most accurate waypoint. Now this information was passed on to me by a person that knows a lot more about sonar and GPS and how they work together on the, especially on the side image screen, than I'll ever know. So let's take this isolated rock, and the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure and get your GPS antenna as close to the transducer as you can. Now obviously if you're running the internal antenna on something like the Helix or the Solix, you have no choice unless you install a GPS antenna. If you install a GPS antenna, I highly recommend the heading sensor version of that antenna. And in that case, you have to be very careful about magnetic interference on the heading sensor. But get it as close to the transducer as you can. Now, once you've done that, or if you're running the internal antenna, here's what you want to do. You want to be as close to the point where the shadow meets the object as you can be. So somewhere right in there would be the most accurate place to put the GPS or to put the waypoint. Or let's see, we got another object right here, so I'd probably lay it on the corner. This one right here I would put right on the inside edge. But as you're about to find out, you can do everything you can do, and sometimes the conditions just aren't, they just don't allow you to have an extremely accurate GPS waypoint. But that gives you some idea how to mark them the most accurate way you can. External GPS antenna, as close as you can get it to the transducer, and mark it right where the shadow meets the ground. Okay, this is obviously on the SI screen. Alright, let's back out here. Okay, let's go to the next image. Now this is where things get a little bit interesting. Okay, because you can see where I marked a brush pile. This is the waypoint emblem symbol I use for brush piles. You can see where I marked when I marked this on side imaging. Now if you look at my 360 screen, and for those of you that don't know, this is my heading sensor line right here. And that's simply when you install a heading sensor, that tells me that is the direction the boat is pointing. So if you're going to fish this waypoint or this brush pile, you can either turn around and you can throw straight behind the boat, or you can walk to the back of the boat, and if you have a talon down or if you have spot lock set, you just walk to the back of the boat and you throw out straight behind the boat. Now that, in theory, that makes sense, but if you look at my 360 screen, here's the waypoint. Sure enough, it's directly behind the boat. To cast to this brush pile though, and let's say the nose of the boat, which is where the 360 at, or the bow of the boat, is where we're going to start at. To cast at this brush pile, you'd actually have to throw off at an angle right here. Okay? So if you don't have a 360, you may throw behind the boat and fan cast and fan cast and fan cast, and you may or may not hit that brush pile. If you have a 360, you obviously can see that that waypoint is off by, I don't know, probably, see, that's 15 feet. You're probably looking at 15, maybe 30 feet. Okay. All right. So in that case, obviously, because of the conditions, and in this particular instance, they're right over in this corner, like right here, there's a big tall cliff, and that could have been affecting the accuracy. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, in this situation, we have, this was my target right here, and right here, and I always put just one waypoint right in the middle of the stumps, and there's actually another little one there, because with a 360 I don't need to mark each stump. I can mark just one stump, and when I come up to them with my 360, I see where to throw, or I can see all the targets. But once again, look right here. Here's our waypoint, which says it's 15 feet from the boat, the target is, but in reality the target's more like 30 feet from the boat. Now, if you were casting without a 360, you know, odds are, do a little fan casting, you'd start running into stumps. So in this situation, except for the distance, this waypoint's not too bad. Let's look at the next image. Now in this case, we have a stump and what I would consider a brush pile. Now, if you look here, you can tell by this shadow that that's obviously a stump. There's a root right there that's washed out. Okay, this, I determined it was a brush pile. Sure enough, there it is right there. So in this situation, if you were standing on the bow of the boat, you didn't have a 360, you could start fan casting in the direction of your waypoints over here, and sure enough, you'd hit stumps. So you would say, oh wow, my GPS is accurate. Man, this unit's accurate. I don't care what brand you have, you'd be going, this is the best unit I've ever seen as far as GPS accuracy. It put me right back on the target. Where in the reality of the situation, the conditions, as you moved out away from this bluff down here in the bottom, the conditions improve. The GPS conditions improve. So more than likely, you're going to get a more accurate waypoint. And you know, there's other things. Atmospheric conditions affect it. There's just general things affect the GPS accuracy. So in this case, you'd be going, man, my unit's wonderful. If we go back one, you'd be going, this one's okay. I guess that's acceptable. But boy, if you were trying to find this brush pile and you didn't have a 360, you would be convinced that whatever unit you have just sucks big time, right? Sure you would. You know, you read it on the line all the time. You know, I have people call me and talk to me about it. But what I want you to get out of this is a couple of things. Number one, GPS as a whole is only guaranteed to give you 7-meter accuracy. Now, most of the time it's better than that. It can be as good as 3 feet, and we've all seen those days where everything seems to be dead on. But, you know, just don't be surprised if you don't have a 360, if it's tough to find your target sometime. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two is, the 360, and I didn't do this as a 360 video, but I hope you see what a valuable tool the 360 can be sometimes, because you know, it just makes finding and casting the targets much easier. And in fact, I did not catch on screenshot the fish in this video, but this stump right here, I threw I don't remember, I think it was a chatterbait by it, and when I did, a fish came out here and I saw him move, threw a worm back in there and caught one about 2.5–3 pounds. So You know, the 360 is a valuable fishing tool. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. So hopefully this helped you. Maybe this will help you understand your GPS system, your Waypoint system a little bit better. This is something new to me. Maybe, you know, making videos instead of labeling screenshots. I wanted to give this a try because sometimes, you know, it's hard to explain when you start labeling a screenshot. It's hard to explain exactly what you're trying to just by typing in those little boxes. So if you like this video, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I can do some more like it, maybe get some screenshots and explain what I'm seeing. And if you don't like it and you like the labeling system better, just let me know. Okay? Alright guys, I appreciate it, and hopefully things are settled down here a little bit. I'm getting ready to go back to school. Time to start doing my regular day job again. So maybe I'll have a little more time to make some videos for you. Thanks for watching.